This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so I'll be sending you some links to start with
Mhm,
the Java download.
mhm.
Even have to download your IntelliJ as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Better
Just share me
stick
the
to
folder.
version 8. Yeah. You can try sharing your screen so that
No, it is saying ask the organizer to make you the presenter.
okay, I need to make it presenter. Hold on. Yeah, try now. Yeah, I can see your screen. If you see
Mhm.
chat window, yes. So I think you have to register yourself an account. Do you have any login credentials to this already? Then you can use. Maybe you might have registered previously. You can reset or no, it won't
Mm.
allow you to download without login. So if yours is
Yeah,
Windows 30 or 62-bit,
64.
yeah, so
64
64
bit.
bit, then scroll down here in the first session, last one. Yeah, you have to click
Mm.
there.
Just a second.
Yeah, yeah, let it get downloaded. If it is done, just run it. Just saying next, next. You don't need to select any settings.
Yeah.
Yeah, click on next.
Okay. 108.
Yeah. So yeah. But you have to set the environment variables as well to you know um, do one thing. Go to the location like your C drive program files. You will
Yeah.
see folder with the name Java. Java. Yes. Go to JDK. Copy this path. No,
JDK or
first
bin?
JDK. No, first until JDK, then it has been. Copy this. Now open your system and variables.
Yeah.
Advanced system
Mm,
settings. Or you can just type envi in the search. It will automatically open up the environment variables. Next to your Windows,
okay.
there is a search icon. No? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Click on it. Yeah, yeah. So here, second one, under the system variables, click on new. Yes, paste it in the second text box. Give the name as all capital letters Java Home. Yeah,
Java underscore home. Right?
yeah. Click on OK. Now copy the path until bin.
Okay.
Uh,
I'll go to
go
path.
back. No, first copy the path until the bin folder from your C drive
Yeah,
where
I
you
copied it.
copy.
Copied it.
Okay, so yeah, click on edit. Click on new. Yeah, click paste here until bin. Yeah, just click on OK. Yeah, click on OK. Even that one as well. Click on OK.
Yeah, done.
Yeah. Okay. So next you have to get IntelliJ installed in your PC. We'll be using IntelliJ. So just
Okay.
you can quickly search for download IntelliJ on your Google.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, click on the first one. And you have to download the community edition because yeah, second one,
Mhm.
click on download. Yeah, just open that. Yeah, just click on next. You can keep the settings default. Just in case you want shortcut on the desktop, click on the first checkbox under the create desktop shortcut. Yeah, click on next. Yeah.
Should I add bin folder to the path?
No, that's not required. You don't need. Just click on next. Just install. Krishna, you have just joined, no? Right?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah. Actually, we have just started with the installation part.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. Yep.
Uh, you have Java installed in your PC?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Can you go to some place where no you don't get any disturbance? I think we are getting some background. So if you are done with Java and IntelliJ installation, we can you can just follow along, or you have to install. Just let me know.
Yeah, I have to install IntelliJ.
Okay, Java is already there.
Yeah, it's already there.
Okay, just you can quickly check download IntelliJ in the Google. The first link you get, just open and download the community edition.
Yes. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the system.
Yeah. We'll be creating a new project. I think installation is successful. Maybe you can
Okay.
stop screen sharing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Krishna, are you installing IntelliJ?
Yes. 3 minutes left.
Okay. You want to share screen? I'll give you presenter role. You can share screen. Are you sharing your screen, Krishna? Yeah.
Yes, sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes left. 2 minutes.
Okay. Which version of Java you have installed previously?
I think it's one second. Let me check.
Let's check it now. Just give Java space hyphen version.
Version, right?
Yeah, Java space hyphen version. Hyphen. I think you're missing hyphen.
Oh,
Yeah. Space hyphen version. After Java, one
oh,
space
hyphen.
hyphen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
13.
Starting. Fine. Actually, 8 is more compatible, but even if it is more than 8, it's fine. Let it be. Don't disturb that.
Yeah.
Install
Oh,
your
this is for
Intel.
JMeter. I installed this, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't had the reminder, so I missed it.
Yeah, it's okay. Just click on next. Yeah, if you want shortcut on the desktop, click on the first checkbox under create desktop shortcut.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
click on next. Click on next. Yeah, just click on install. Okay, I think it will be installed. So
Yeah.
I'll share screen. Meanwhile, we'll continue with some discussion of Java. I'll just share my screen. Hold on. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll start with introduction of Java. Then we'll start with some basic concepts today. So you might know what is Java, right? So what is Java? Any idea? Anyone?
It's a object-oriented programming language.
Yes, Java is an object-oriented programming language. Also, it's a
Yeah.
platform. Okay.
Platform independent. Yeah.
Yeah. Java is also Java is a platform. So when platform is nothing but you can call it as some environment. It can be hardware environment, it can be software environment. That is what platform is for. So when you take Java, it is widely used in web applications, desktop applications, in gaming, even in some electronic devices as well. So that's the reason why it is called as a platform. So few terms you have to understand. Maybe you know already the basics part. So JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine. JDK stands for Java Development Kit. ARE stands for Java Runtime Environment. So among these three, JVM does not exist physically because it's just a virtual machine. JDK and JRE exist physically. So JRE will contain this JDK. So you just install Java, right? If you go to your C drive and program files and open Java folder, that's where you see two folders with the name JDK and JRE. You don't see anything for JVM because it's a virtual machine. It does not exist physically. Okay. So here you don't need to learn about history of Java and all. No, just for your understanding, uh, we will be working with core Java. If you understand the syntax of Java and some of the basic concepts of Java, you are good to start with your Selenium. Okay. So we just downloaded, right? You both have downloaded IntelliJ. We'll try to create a new project and understand how to create a new Java program and all first. Then we will start with the variables. So just launch your IntelliJ. If you are doing it along, you can just follow along, or you want to do later, maybe you can follow the recording. I'm just creating a new project. Okay, once you launch, you will see the same UI for this tool. Mine is I think bit old version, so I didn't update it. Both of you, I think you are having the latest version. So just click on the create new project. Later on, once we move to Selenium, we'll be creating Maven project. But until we complete core Java concepts, we'll work with Java project only. So here you have to choose Java. Okay, so I have checked this Java option here. I'm just clicking on next and again clicking on next. So you have to choose the location where you want to store this particular project. Just click on these three dots. You can just open the path where you want to just choose the location. So I'm just going to some location. Here I am creating a new folder. I just give today's date. My project name will be for Java and today's date. Okay, this is my folder name I'm giving to create a new Java project. Just choose the newly created folder and click on open. The path will get updated here. Just then click on finish. It will create a new Java project for you. Okay. So see, this is the source folder. You will see in the same way the folder name which you have given, that will appear here as a root folder. You see a source folder here. This is where we'll be creating new packages and classes. So currently what I want to do, I just want to create a new Java program. For that, what I have to do, just right click on this src, just click on new, click on Java class. So everything in Java is considered as a object. So there is a concept called classes and objects, which we will be seeing in detail in the upcoming session. But as we just started, you have to just create a new Java program. For that, you have to create a new Java class. So according to the best coding practices and naming conventions, class name should always start with a capital letter. So it won't give you any error if you give small letter, but we have to follow the conventions and all. So your class name should always start with a capital letter. So my class name here is Hello World. So everyone who will just start with Java, just to explain them, this is the very basic program. So what is my class name here? The one which I
Hello
just
world.
Hello World, right? Okay, just type enter. It will just create a new Java program for you. See, you created Java class here, the extension will be .java. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, uh, first we will understand what are these things you're seeing here. So, whenever you create a new Java program, you will see public class followed by your class name and this set of curly braces. Okay, so here public is your access modifier and class is a keyword which is used to declare any class, followed by whatever name you have given to your program, that will come here as a class name. Okay, so later on we'll see in detail other access modifiers as well. Public is one of the access modifiers. So one thing, some of the things will be on high level initially because we don't discuss everything on same day. So gradually we'll cover all the topics which are required to start with working with Selenium. So on high level here, I just created a new Java program. Here public is the access modifier, class is a keyword which we use to declare any class in Java. All these things are auto generated, and the curly braces here, set of curly braces, this represents the scope of the class. Scope in the sense whatever you put inside this curly braces, that will belongs to the class. So that is what, this is the scope of your class between line 2 and 9. Now you can just give in how much space you want, and you can write as many lines of code as you want. And one more important thing, every Java program should have a main method. So the advantage of using this code editors is you have got some shortcuts to generate few things. To create a main method, you can use a shortcut called psvm. Okay, so if you type psvm, enter, it has generated this main method for you. So public static void main string of args, this entirely, this is your main method. Okay, so why main method is required? Every Java program's execution will always start with the main method. So that's why you need to add one main method. There will be only one main method. You can create as many user defined methods as you want. Anyways, we will have again a dedicated session for the methods. But here again, public is a access modifier, static is a keyword. Even there is one dedicated topic for the static keyword understanding. So on high level here, static is a keyword again. Void is the return type of the method. Main is the name of the method. Here, inside this main method, you see there is something called string of args. This is actually used to it is used for the command line argument. Okay, we'll see. Actually, there is one important interview question associated with Java's main method that we will discuss when we discuss the static keyword. But as of now, here public static void main is the main method. This is actually predefined in Java. So That is why we can still use the shortcut to generate the main method like this. So here this curly braces again represents the scope of the main method. Means whatever you put inside this curly braces, that will belong to this main method. Okay. Sorry for the background noise. Just hold on. Okay. So now what is the like in the scope of the class we have added a main method. Can we say that? Is it valid? Yes or no?
Yes.
Sorry, Anika, can you repeat?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes, Kiran?
I didn't hear what you said, so I thought some disturbance on my side.
Okay, okay. I'm saying the main
Uh-huh.
method is the scope of the class. Is it valid?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, because
Right?
it is inside the class. Yeah.
Yes, it is in the scope of the class. So, see, actually, if you already know some basics of Java, very basics, maybe it will be like revision for you. If you don't know, I'm just explaining from scratch. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, sure.
now, yeah, yeah. So here, all these keywords are highlighted with some color, right? This is one of the advantage of using these IDEs. Actually, there is one more IDE called Eclipse. Why I'm using IntelliJ is more advanced than Eclipse. Okay. So now, uh, what is the return type of the main method? I just said some time back.
Void.
Void.
Void. Yeah. Void means it does not return anything. Okay. Void is the return type of the main method. Whenever any method is having the return type as void, means it does not return anything. Okay. So, with this program, I just want to explain two things: how you can use comments in Java and how you can print something to the console. So, starting with the comments, here in Java, there are three types of comments are there. Okay. So there are single line comments, there are multi-line comments, also documentation comments. So these are the three different types of comments we will use in Java. So how will you use these comments? But before that, what is the purpose of using this comment is, for example, I want to tell someone about what my program is about, then I can use comments. Or if I want to block some line of code from executing, then also I can use comment. Before I use some comment here, this will represent single line comment. So single line comment always starts with two backslashes. Okay. So if you want to use single line comment, you have to use two backslashes. If you want to use multi-line comments, started with the backslash and asterisk, and with asterisk and backslash, whatever you put in between this, you can consider it as multi-line comment. Okay. The third type of comment is documentation comment. When you put backslash and two asterisk and enter, see the second one here, this one and this one are auto generated after typing enter, after inputting this. So this is your documentation comment. What is the purpose of using this documentation comment is, this is generally used to tell someone about what your program is about. For example, you're collaborating with more people, maybe you like you are all writing some code, you want to tell someone about what your exactly program is about and all, then you will be using the documentation comment. So I just declared them, I haven't used them actually. So basically, comments will be ignored when you run your code. I didn't executed any Java program because I haven't provided anything here to print something to console and all. Now we'll see print statement. Then we will be using these comments to understand how they work. In Java, there is a print statement system.out.println. You can use it to print something to the console. So there is a shortcut here to generate this print statement. If you type SOUT, okay, this one, and type enter, it will generate the print statement for you. Okay, so here what are the system.out.println? In Java, there are a lot of predefined classes, methods, interfaces, and all. Like that, system is one of the class in Java, and there is another class called print stream, from which there is a println method. Why we use this is, here we use this to print something to the console. For example, I want to print something like hello world. So, see, if you want to print something without storing it in a variable, then you can directly put it in the double quotes. But if you want to store something in a variable, our next topic will be variables. I'll tell at that time how to use them. But currently, I'm just trying to print something to the console. So, whenever you try to print something to the console, you will be using the print statement. So, when I actually right click and run this class, particular Java program, see, hello world got printed to the console. So whenever you want to print something to the console, you can use the print statement. Now, how will I use comments is, for example, I want to tell someone about what exactly this particular line of code is about. Then I can use this single line comment and say this is a print statement. Okay. So you might have observed when I right click and run this program, do you see any of the comments here in the console?
No.
No, right? So basically, comments will be ignored when you actually run your code. These are just for markup purpose. Here I'm using to just kind of markup thing, means I want to tell someone about what exactly this line of code is about. So I'm using this as a markup. But if I have got some lines of code like this, let me copy paste this multiple times. So if I run this now, how many times I'll see hello world printed to the console?
7 times.
7.
Seven, right? So we'll say 7 times. But here, how can I use comments is, maybe for some reason I don't want to execute some of the lines of the code. Then I can use the single line comment. But see, this is feasible just for the markup purpose. And if you want to comment out only one line, then you can use the single line comment. But if I want to comment out all these lines as well, instead of repeating this single line comment many times, I can use this multi line comments. So wherever I want to start the comment, just start with this backslash and asterisk. Wherever I want to end the comment, just type enter. It will auto generate this. So now, how many times I see hello world printed to the console?
It should be only one. No, if you want it.
Only one,
Yeah,
right?
once.
Yeah. So here, I have used the single line comment to comment out one line of code. Also have used the single line comment to tell someone about what exactly this line of code is about. And here, what type of comment I have used for this one?
Multi-line.
Multi-line. So if you currently the code is not so meaningful, but when you write some actual code related to something in Java, then you can definitely utilize this multi-line comments to block some of the code to stop executing, because you may want to execute it later on for some reason. Then you can definitely utilize this multi-line comment for many lines of code, or single line comment for one line of code. Also, I'm using this to kind of markup thing. Okay, so that is the purpose of using this comments. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, this is a very basic program just to print something to the console. Then we will see the topic of variables, and maybe we can wind up for the day. Then we will continue with the rest of the topics in the next session. So our next
Okay.
topic is variables. So what exactly is a variable? Why you need to use it is, if you see the previous program which we just created, I'm not storing any data, right? I'm directly, even though I'm trying to print something to the console, I'm directly putting in inside the print statement of the double quotes, inside the double quotes. But what is the purpose of using this variable is, actually variable is like a container which will store some value. Maybe I want to store some values to do some calculations or anything. So how I can store values in Java? Variables are used to store values in Java. So I can call it as variable is like a container which will store some value. So how can I create a variable is, create a new Java class. One more thing, when I create a new Java program, I cannot use the keywords as a class name. So what are the keywords? Keywords are the predefined words in Java. Here, whatever you see already predefined, like see the public, class, static, void, main, these are all the keywords. Here actually main is the name of the method, but all these are keywords. Keywords are nothing but some reserved words in Java which are used to, like this. See, when you create a class, we are using this public access modifier class keyword. Main method is having public static void main. So these are all the reserved words. You cannot use keywords as a variable name or class name even for the method name. So this is the one thing you have to remember. So I cannot name my class as public class, or I cannot name my variable as class public and all. Okay, because these are all the reserved words in Java which are called as a keywords. Now I am declaring some variable. So after creating a new class, what I need here?
Variables.
No, no. After creating any new Java program, no, a class will be
Public
generated like,
public static void main.
yeah. What is that called? Public
Oh,
static void
main, main,
Main
main
method.
method. Yeah, that is
It
called as a,
returns nothing.
yes, main method. Okay, so you can definitely use the shortcuts if you are a beginner, or if you have some hands-on, fine, you can type on your own. So now I want to create some variable like this. See, first I'll declare some variable, later on I'll explain what are the different things I'm using there. So if I say int a equal to 10, this is the way I'll be declaring some variable. But what exactly all these things, int a and all? See, is there any markup I can use here? I think I cannot use markup here. Okay, hold on. So here, let me use some online painting tool. Okay, so I'll just copy this. Just want to explain few things about what I declared here. So, okay, so what exactly int, what exactly a and all? Here, int is your data type. Okay, our next topic is data types, which we'll see in the next session. But int is your data type. Whenever you declare any variable, the variable must have a data type. So here int is the data type of the variable, and a is the variable name. Okay, every variable should have some name. So a is a variable name. This text box. So a is what? A is a variable name, and equal to is your assignment operator. Okay, and 10 is the value we are storing in a variable. Okay, this is the value we are storing in a variable. And the last one is a semicolon. In Java, every statement should end with a semicolon. If you have observed, Even for the print statement, I'm ending with a semicolon. So what will happen if I don't use semicolon? I'll see some error here, right? This
Syntax.
sort of, yeah, this is a syntax error. Whatever error the compiler tells you before you run your code, this is your compile time error. Why you got the compile time error? This is some syntax is wrong. So every statement should end with a semicolon. Okay. So what are these things in the variable which I declared? The variable also should end with a semicolon. So now here int is a data type, a is a variable name, equal to is the assignment operator, 10 is the value I'm storing, and this is a semicolon. Every statement should end with a semicolon. So what will happen behind the scenes? You are declaring a variable with the name a, which will store the value called 10. Okay, in the memory, some memory will be allocated for this variable, and the value stored is 10. So this is like a container which will hold some value. That is what variable is. So these are the different things you will see in the variable. So now, uh, why I'm declaring this variable is, maybe I want to do some calculation or anything, but int is a data type. Basically, I'm storing some number only, right? There are a different data types are there, primitive and non-primitive, as I said, which we'll see in the next session. So this is how you will declare a variable. But there is one more thing called types of variables. There are different types of variables. Three types are there. Say types of variables. So there are three types: global or instance variable. You're able to see this, right? Where I'm just
Yes.
writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then local variable, then static variable. Okay. These are the three
Mhm.
different types of variables you can use in Java. So if you understood the scope of the class and scope of the method, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So then it will be easy for you to understand this. So what exactly this global variable? Any variable which is declared inside the scope of the class and outside the scope of the method, that is what your global variable is. Like here, what is the scope of the class? From this line to this line, right? 2 to 11.
Yes.
So if I declare this here, this is my global or instance variable. Any name you can use. You can call it as a global variable, or you can call it as an instance variable. Okay. So any variable which is declared inside the scope of the class but outside of the scope of the method, even though you have many methods here, any variable you declare inside the scope of the class, that will be outside the scope of the method, that is your global variable. Then if you declare any variable inside the scope of the method, then this is called as a local variable.
Local.
Yeah. Yes. So any variable which is declared inside the scope of the method, maybe, see, I'm just creating some method of my own. Later on we'll see methods on very detail. So I'll say public static void method 1. I'll say public void method 2. Okay. So how many methods I have declared here?
3.
Yeah, main method is auto generated, but on my own I have declared two methods, right?
2. Okay.
Yeah, this is already predefined in Java main method, but I am declaring some methods of my own. See, this is just on high level. We'll see methods on very detail later on. But here, what is the purpose of writing this is, I just want to show the difference between static and non-static. Just hold on. Okay, so now if I declare some variable here like this, what type of variable this is now?
It is local.
Static.
No, no, no. This is a
Oh, local variable.
local variable, right? Because even though I created some method of my own, this is inside the scope of some method, right? So this is still a local variable. Okay. Now, if I declare any variable with the static keyword, currently I'm using only int data type. Next session we'll use different data types. So if I declare any variable with the static keyword, then this is my static variable. One thing is static variables are always global. This cannot be local. The reason is, as I said, there is a dedicated topic we will be seeing with the static keyword. On high level, I'm explaining this. There is a keyword in Java with the name static. Static is a keyword which is related to memory management. So once you declare any variable with the static keyword, memory will be allocated to it only once. So we'll see this on detail, as I said, in the upcoming sessions. But here I cannot make this as a local. What will happen if I make it as a local? It will give me error. Okay, because it's what it is saying. If I hover on here, what it is saying, static is not
Modifier.
allowed.
Not allowed.
Yeah. So your static variable will be always global scope, not the local scope. So, these are the different types of variables. But one thing you can observe, my main method is having the static keyword. This method one is having the static keyword, but method two does not have the static keyword, right? So I can say my main method is always static. Even my methods can be static or non-static. What is non-static? Anything you declare without the static keyword, that you can call it as a non-static.
Mhm.
Okay. So now I can call this as a non-static global variable. This is my
Mhm.
static variable. Variable will be always global. This is my main method, which will be always static. I can call it this method as a static method, and this one as non-static, because
Non-static.
I'm not using the static keyword
Static keyword.
on. Yes. And static can access only static, but non-static can access both static and non-static. Okay, maybe I'll write it down here. Static can access only static, non-static can access both static and non-static. What I mean by this particular statement is, okay, so now if I try to use a print statement and try to print B, am I getting any error here?
No.
No, right? Now,
And then print and B is okay. It is a local variable. Okay, fine. Yeah, got it.
yeah, because this is local, I'm still in the main method, so it's fine.
Right.
I try to access D. Am I getting any error?
No.
No.
No, right? But if I try to access A, see, there is some error. The reason is this is non-static. My main method is static,
Okay.
right? Static can access only static. But if you see the method which I declared here, if I try to copy paste these three lines here, now where I'm getting the error? On this line. What is the reason? Can you guess?
The B is actually declared inside another static method.
Yeah, B. Actually, here not only static and non-static. This is a local
It's a
variable, right?
main.
This is within this method only. When I
Correct.
try to
Yeah.
access it, so for example,
Okay.
if I try to access here, here also I'm getting error, because this is static, this is also static. Still I'm getting error, right? For B
Right.
Yes.
variable. The reason is, any variable you declare inside a method, that will be limited to that method only. So this is valid. So we cannot access this here. Even if I try to access the C here, then also same thing. But why I'm getting error for A here? Because A is
Yeah, Not
static.
static.
This method is static.
Non-static using in static
Yeah.
method.
But see, am I getting error for A here?
No.
No, because this is non-static. So non-static can access both static and non-static. Okay, but
Yes.
static can access only static. But there is a way to access static inside non-static by creating object of the class. Okay, we'll see objects and classes on very high like detail later. If I explain it now, maybe it will be too much on the first day, but I can create object of the class. I'm just doing it on very high level, don't get confused, but if you have some hands on, I think it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So if I say variables equal to new variables, then if I say variables dot, see, now I'm able to access this. Did I got any like, so actually I try to print it to console or something I have to do, like no, we'll see how to do that on very detail later on. But if I create object of the class using the object
Okay.
reference, I can access the non-static inside the static. That is what I want to demonstrate just for now, because as I said, classes and objects, all these things we'll see on very detail later on. So what I did here, I created object of the class. Actually, don't worry about this one. As I said, we'll see this later. But what you have to understand is non-static can access static if we create object of the class and we try to access. Okay.
Yes.
Directly it is not possible, but indirectly you can consider this way to
Using
remove
yes.
create object of the class and access the non-static inside static. But directly it is not possible. That's why I wrote these two lines. Hope this is clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one more last thing. When I run this program now, what should be I will be seeing in the console?
The declared values for B, D, A,
Yeah, what are the values? I'll see
5,
only this.
3,
Yeah, five. Five is this one. Three is this one. Then
right. That is
that's
commented, right? There won't be anything.
yeah, yeah. Even though I created some methods and added some print statements, I cannot see them printed. The reason is, no, declaring method alone is not enough. You basically have to call the method inside the main method. The Java program execution will always starts from the main method. So if I just try to call the method here, no, then I will be able to see this now. Okay. Actually, there are many types of methods. We can create method with parameter, without parameter, with return type, without return type, and all. So, anyways, as I said, we'll have a dedicated session for that. But this is again on high level. So, if I try to access the method two, am I seeing it here? See, I have method
Yes.
two also. I'm not able to access it here. What is the reason?
You can't access non-static inside a static method.
Yes, exactly. That's it. But if I create object of the class, then it will allow me. Okay.
Right.
So if I say again,
So the
variables.
object also has to be created inside the main method only. Right?
No, no, actually you can create any
If I
anywhere.
create that variables object inside method 2,
Okay, this one you are
okay,
asking. Okay.
yeah, that if I create inside method 2, will I be able to call the method 2 inside the main method?
No, no, actually
Yeah.
you can access using the object reference. Also, there are other ways to do that, but it won't
Mm-hmm.
give you any error. Okay, actually, when you
Mm-hmm.
write some code, this is not the proper concept of classes and variables. Two ways we will be declaring the objects. One to just for the accessing purpose like this. Other one, the object oriented concepts are there. Class is like a blueprint. You create objects from object exists physically. Once you understand, it will be more clear to you. But yes, you can create. It won't give you any error. You can create and try. That's not an issue. So if I use this, still I'm able to see the other things like A and all. But I have to explain few more concepts to use it on right way. Okay, we'll do that in the upcoming
Yes.
sessions. Yeah. Okay. So, so far, whatever I explained is clear. Any questions or
Yes.
doubts? Okay. Okay, fine. So, I'll stop here today. You,
Yes.
like if you have some hands-on, just revise these topics by creating some project of your own, create some variables and try to declare the different types of variables and all. Then we'll continue the data types and all from Monday. Okay.
Okay. So tomorrow no session.
Tomorrow no session. We'll continue on weekdays.
Okay. Sounds
5
good.
days a week, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. will be the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I
Thank
stop
you.
recording? Yeah, welcome. Any questions? Can I stop recording?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay.